Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Home Life with Rebecca. So we're really like eating out of the pantry. I'm making beef stew because we bought stew meat the other day and some ground beef, but I didn't do very good inventory because we only had 2 potatoes left and they were small. But I was like, okay, we still have carrots, we still had some celery. It was kind of limp, but it was usable. I had beef broth, and then I made that chicken stir fry. We had like a tiny bit of rice left over, so I went ahead and dumped that in there. And to kind of give the stew more flavor, I did like coat the stew meat in flour because it was already defrosted. Like lo and behold, I actually had some meat that wasn't frozen. So I got the meat all tenderized and like black, not blackened, but browned with flour. And then I put a little bit of red wine vinegar. And then we had like not even a quarter cup of some dry red wine left. So I put that in there. And then just garlic powder, salt and pepper, onion powder. I had some onions left over that I threw in there. And then like a beef stew packet, and then I did like a cornstarch flurry, like 2 tablespoons of that to kind of thicken it up. But then my daughter's friend ended up coming over, and I'm like, oh, that's not enough food. Like it wasn't enough broth. So then I just add 2 more beef boiling cubes with 2 cups of water, and then I made some more cornstarch slurry, so hopefully it thickens up a little bit, but if not, at least there's a lot of broth. And then we have some French bread still that I can cut up. And then I'm like, well, I'll just make a chocolate cake because we need to use up the boxed cake mixes. So I'm making that. And then I've got like some chocolate icing I can throw on there. But like when I went down there, because I went to go get in our utility rooms where I keep like our extra canned stuff and box stuff, I was like, oh, I'll add some corn to the stew. There's like, we have no canned corn. We have no cereal. We have tomato sauce, but we don't have like hardly any diced tomatoes. There's like 1 can. We're almost out of spaghetti sauces. We're almost out of beans. We're almost out of green beans. Like I need to do a serious stock up. The teenagers, they complain there's no food in the house, but this because they eat it. Like food, like even like the canned stuff, like it goes quick. Like I bought the oatmeal cookie things that I was putting with like the ice cream that I showed a couple vlogs back. I bought the big pack at Sam's Club. So it's not even been 3 weeks ago, but they were gone in like a week and a half because, they don't make them the same size they used to make them when I was growing up. I never liked them, but I remember them being bigger than what they are now. They're like tiny. So like my son, who's 18 and like almost 6 foot, weighs 170 pounds or whatever, like one of those little things that's not going to do anything. So he's got to eat like 3 of them to feel satisfied. But like even like our fruit, like our bananas are gone, or we have 2 oranges left. We've got like 5 apples left. So I mean, it's just, they're like even getting into the frozen fruit and stuff. Like the granola that I made, the cookies that I made yesterday for our neighbor, some of it turned into granola. That's pretty much gone. My daughter was like, my oldest daughter, she's like, can we like get some Cheerios? Because she likes to have Cheerios or yogurt, or the oatmeal. I'm like so sick of oatmeal. I've been eating so many of those little packs of oatmeal. But yeah, it's time to do like a Winco grocery haul to hit up the bulk bins and the canned section. So I've even been like going through like our canned tuna. I try not to eat it when my husband's home because like even the smell of it like makes him like gag. But like the other day I was like so hungry, and then Wesley wanted it too. So I'm like, I'm going to make this. So just go in the other room. And I was using like our celery and that, like the onion. And like I tell my kids, because they've gotten so used to like door dashing and everything. We live close to a lot of things, like the convenience of just grabbing like whatever they're craving. They've like forgotten like what it's like to just make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, like not have an Uncrustable. Which I don't usually buy unless they're on sale or if like it's summer and I want them for like the pool or lake day. But like the other day my daughter made a peanut butter and jelly for work, and I was like, oh, I just bought a bunch of like turkey meat, like lunch meat. And she's like, I know. She's like, and I bit into it yesterday. She had packed one for work, and she said that she was like, what the heck's wrong with it? Well, I didn't realize I accidentally grabbed chicken breast, which isn't bad in itself, but it's like some weird flavor of like paprika and black pepper, and I'm sure like I would like it, or my husband, some of the other kids, but like she does not like stuff like that. She says she almost threw up. So I'm like, oh, okay, I need to get some turkey. I need to get canned stuff, beans, like some rice, like the whole 9 yards. But yesterday I didn't tell you guys either that like it's just been crazy here, like appointments and then painting, and then like you can hear in my voice, like I officially told the praise team at our church that I'm not going to be singing. I probably won't sing again until maybe even next October, because the minute I try to practice or if I talk too much, I start sounding like this and it actually hurts. But we've had sickness. Adam might have an autoimmune disease now. Jillian's got a cast on her finger. It's just been like appointment after appointment. I've had to have Kennedy's meds changed. I've got end of the year meetings coming up. I know it's only March, but like we do like Kennedy's IEP and stuff around this time of year. The talent show for her school is coming up. And then like in the midst of all that, like our dog Rosie, the little one, she is really old, and one of the kids probably dropped something on the floor and she ate it, and like her stomach cannot handle anything. So if it's got garlic in it or onion or whatever, like it'll like make her sick. And she was like pooping. It's so gross. I know, TMI, but she was like pooping in her kennel. And thankfully it didn't get like on our carpet. It got on our throw rugs. I actually went to Sam's Club because they had them on coupon, the cleaning, like the little green machine thing. I got one because I had to clean our carpets because I couldn't handle it anymore. And I didn't know like if her anal glands needed to be expressed because we just had her groomed, and usually they will do that. But I told my husband, like, maybe they didn't. He goes, no, they automatically do it. I'm like, well, if you didn't say so, maybe they didn't realize it needed to be done. I wasn't sure, but I was like, she is not well. Like I was having to give her baths and it was really bad. So we had to take her. I called the vet and they couldn't get her in. So we had to take her to the emergency vet. So glad we have pet care credit because we ended up having to use it. So she was like $200. And basically it was, no, I can't even think of the name. Just like her stomach was messed up. And they did have to express some of her anal glands. Like it wasn't bad, but it needed to be done. Because like little dogs, like she's just getting so old, she might even need that done. Like 4 to 6 weeks. And it's getting to the point where I'm going to have to YouTube it and start doing it myself because I can't get her groomed or take her to the vet every 4 to 6 weeks to get that done. I'm just going to have to suck it up, and I've got disposable gloves. So, so gross. Sometimes I love having pets and I love animals, but sometimes like I'm just done like having all these pets in the house. We were never supposed to have this many cats or dogs for that matter. So as Rosie was sick, then our big fat cat, Binks, the orange one, I noticed that he was like going back and forth to the litter box. And at first it was kind of funny because he was like, he doesn't fit very well in there because he's like 20 pounds. And we really try not to overfeed him, but he is indoor outdoor. So I don't know sometimes what he's eating outside. And sometimes like, because there's so many people living here, one of the kids will feed him after I've already fed them. So he does, like, we've been better since he's been sick. But I was like, what is going on? And so I thought maybe he didn't fit in the litter box because it's got the lid on it. So I'm like, well, maybe he's too fat. Oh, my cake. Oh, I almost forgot my cake. I made some coffee. Anyways, I noticed that I thought, well, maybe he doesn't fit in there. So I took the lid off and I was watching him and he just kept going back and forth like every 30 seconds. So I was like, that's weird. Because I've never really paid attention to like their pee patterns or whatever. We just always empty the litter box 2 to 3 times a day. Or if we see them do it and we're right there, you know, one of us will empty it. I gotta try really hard to keep the litter situation under control with 3 cats because we've got 2 boxes downstairs and 1 up here. But I went and I was looking in there and I'm like, there was nothing in there, or there'd be like a dime size circle of like pee, and he kept just doing it and doing it. And because he's so overweight, like because the lid was off, he was like tracking litter everywhere, and I was getting really frustrated. And so I'm like, can cats get UTIs? So I looked it up, and yes, they can. And especially for a male cat, because they're narrow, their opening or the urethra, whatever it's called, is like more narrow. So if it's not treated, they can die from it. And as much as I'm like, I just want to get rid of the animals because I'm over it. Like, I don't want them to die. So I was like, that's probably not good. And then I read that cats that are obese or have diabetes are more prone to UTI. So I'm like, that's perfect. Because he's 20 pounds. And ginger cats, by the way, there's a reason why they've made Garfield orange. They've made Garfield a ginger cat, is because male ginger cats are prone to being overweight and overeaters. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. That's why they made Garfield an orange cat. So I called the vet, and luckily they had an appointment for him, so we didn't have to do an emergency appointment. But they're like, can try to bring in a urine sample, and I'm like, I don't think he's gonna let me. Like, I tried, and there wasn't even enough coming out, and every time I even tried to get near him in the box, he would just get out. So wasn't able to get a urine sample. But I'm dealing with Binks, dealing with Rosie, who'd already been on the vet. They put her on some special food, and they put her on a probiotic, and she loved this wet food. It was basically like chicken stew for dogs, but she was like so hungry from being sick. Like 2 times she like ate too fast, even though it was like seriously a tablespoon of food. She'd go in her kennel and she would throw up. And I was just like, this is all while the living room's torn apart. I'm still sick. Like, I was just gonna like lose my mind. And then I've got Binks going to the litter box every 2 seconds, and they're like, collect his urine. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is just not good. Anyway, I got him to the vet, and we ended up having to leave him there for like 6 hours so they can try to get a urine sample. And they did, and thankfully he doesn't have a UTI, but he had crystals in his urine, which could lead to a UTI. So they put him on a special food and some like inflammatory medicine. And the last time I tried to give a cat a pill was my sister's cat Titan, and it was like no bueno. Like, it was so hard. It took me and Adam like holding him down with him scratching and hissing and fighting us to put a pill in his mouth. And then Binks, like, you just open up his mouth, put it in there, and he chews it, and he's really good about it. But he's already feeling better. They're just like, try to get him to drink more. Okay, like cats are just so much harder, I feel like, in that aspect than dogs are. Like, I can't get him to drink more. Like, I don't know why. Like, I hardly ever see him drink, but he just always wants to eat. So now I have to be really careful about separating his food from the black cat's food. But a couple times they've like switched, like they wanted to try each other's food. It's just so annoying. So I was like looking at Cooper and Rosie and not Rosie. I was looking at Cooper and Jack and Titan. Cooper's our big black dog. Titan's the white cat, my sister's cat, and then Jack's our black cat. I'm like, do not get sick. And like literally as I'm saying this, Cooper throws up half of a football all over his bed. Because I don't know where this football came from. It wasn't ours. And the snow started to melt. Somehow a football, like a whole football, not like a dog football, like a football, ended up in our yard. And the kids were out there playing, and I didn't know it, but apparently he ate the whole top half of this football. And I couldn't find the other piece. Well, I guess he swallowed it, which is really dangerous because they can get like pancreatitis. And he threw up, and it came out whole. So gross. Half a football on his dog bed. And I'm like, okay, nobody else gets sick. He's fine, but like we really have to keep an eye on him because he'll like eat sticks and pine cones, and he's just an idiot. I love him. He's a big doofus, but it's like, for real, a football. It's so funny. He'll eat every toy, but he's got these little Spider-Man and Iron Man toys from the Dollar Tree that Parker got him. And he's had them since before Christmas. Like, for some reason, like, he doesn't tear those up. I don't know if it's because it's got that crinkly material in them that he just hasn't eaten those. So that's good. But yeah, sick animals. And if you're watching this, Monica, I'm not trying to make you feel bad about us having, your cat, but I just get like, I need the animals to stop pooping and puking because I'm very OCD about the house, and it's already hard enough with having so many kids here and their friends. It's really hard to keep on top of things, and I always feel like our house is stinky, and with the animals being sick like that, I was like ready to just like go jump off a cliff because like, and I don't know, sometimes I think like whatever's wrong with me, like I get like these phantom smells in my nose, and like I can't, not phantom, but like when I cleaned up Rosie's puke, I could not get that smell out of my nose, and so I felt like it was everywhere. I felt like she had done it more places. I was walking around the house like a crazy person with like a flashlight to see if she had puked somewhere else. Like literally could not get the smell out of my nose for like days. Same thing with like poop. Like I sometimes I'll like take out I'll do their litter, and like our black cat, like his poop has always been like really, really bad, and if I get like a whiff of it, like it's like stuck in my nose, like my senses. Like I feel like ever since I had the C word, my smell has been like really, really bad, like, or really weird. Like I'll just smell like things that nobody else can smell, and they're not ever like pleasant smells. I'm like, why can't it be like cake or cookies or, you know, Christmas smells? No, it's poop and throw up. Anyways, I just wanted to vent, tell you my pet drama. I am glad we have that care credit. Binks's appointment ended up being $240, and that was with the food and everything and the medication, and Rosie's was a little over $200. If we would have had to take Binks to the emergency vet, it would have been really expensive, like when we had to take Titan from my sister. But oh, man, pets, like my kids didn't want to help like clean up the poop and clean up the throw up, and like, we don't want to touch it. But yet they're like my oldest daughter's like, can I get a bunny? Can I get my own little dog? I was like, heck to the no, because animals get sick, and part of having pets is having to clean stuff like that up and sucking it up and having to take them to the vet, because you can't not like, I know people do that, but I never want to be one of those kinds of people. So if you're going to have pets, like, so I was telling them, like, this is part of having a pet. Like, you have to take the bad with the good, and sometimes it's really bad. So anyways, definitely don't want any more pets. Sometimes Adam will get online. He's like, oh, you know, look at this puppy, like the animal shelters, it needs a home. I'm like, no. No, because he's at work, so most of the responsibility does fall on me. And I can't handle anymore. I already feel bad enough that our big black dog, like I can't walk him. Like he still is horrible on a leash. And he's never home. And Adam can't really do it right now with his foot issues. So I'm like, because I can't walk him, I need to train him. Like I need to take him back to like a trainer or something, because he pulls on my thumbs and it really, really hurts, like when I'm trying to hold the leash. But he needs to be walked. In the summer, it's better because he's really good about staying in the yard, and we're outside a lot, and he'll just run around and get exercise that way. But especially with the weather warming up, he's been like itching to go outside more, and he needs to be walked. And I just tell them like, no more pets, because I can't do this anymore. And like Rosie's getting older, so like I said, I'm gonna have to learn how to do that thing to her anal glands. And then like my sister's cat, he's gonna be 14 in May, and so he has again, this isn't to make my sister feel bad, she already knows all this stuff, but he's got like some behavioral issues. He's been an only cat for so long, and he was super, super like spoiled. I'm not trying to be mean, like, but you know, some people, like, he was like their baby, and he got used to like living a certain way, and then he came here, and there's a lot of kids, and there's more pets, and he doesn't really get along with the other cats, and they don't really get along with him. Sometimes they tolerate each other, and sometimes they don't. Like, it just depends. I guess they're like people, it just depends on their mood. But every single day, probably 2 to 3 times a day, it's been a while since he skipped a day, he will poop outside of his litter box, mainly in the same place. Thankfully, we've got carpet squares laid down there. We've tried putting tarps. He'll go off the tarp to poop on the carpet. And I think it's a FU kind of thing. Like, I'm not happy living here. I don't like you guys. And I miss my mom and dad. And I hate these other cats. Or like, that's kind of because he's fixed. Maybe that's how he's marking his territory, because sometimes the other cats try to go down there. So maybe if he thinks he's like pooping outside of his box, they won't come near it. I don't know. He's old and maybe he's just getting senile. And he's like the world's pickiest eater. He used to love his wet food. He won't eat that. And ever since he got sick, and he was barfing up wet food all over our carpet. It was so bad. That was in the summer. He won't touch it. We've offered it to him before. He doesn't like it. I think, again, like humans, sometimes you eat something and it makes you sick. You never want to eat that food again. I think that's literally what happened to him. Like, he was like, not going to touch it. But he's like addicted to like cat treats. And so he will just meow and meow and meow at you till you give him a treat. And so it's funny because he loves my daughter Tiffany the most. That's who he sleeps with. He loves when she's home. He'll follow her around. He will let her, only her, pick him up and cuddle him. And that's his person. And then next I would say, because Parker and Tiffany and Allie all live in the basement or have their rooms down there, and that's where he is. I would say next he likes Parker. But it's funny because Parker like hates him. Like, well, trying to be mean, but Parker can't stand him. He's like, oh my God, he never shuts up. And he just follows me around and meows. I'm like, well, that's because you give him treats to make him be quiet. So he's got your number. So he knows. That's why he likes you so much, because he knows he's going to get what he wants. It's kind of funny. Like, out of all the cats, Titan has the most personality. And like, I think he's human. Like, obviously I don't believe in reincarnation, but if I did, I would for sure say that he is an old man, a grumpy old man that came back as a grumpy old cat. He just has the weirdest personality. Like, I don't know, like sometimes he'll just look at you and it's almost like disturbing. Like how he thinks he owns that bench and we've had it for like 3 days. Like, you can't get near it. If he's on it, he'll hiss at you. He'll even hiss at Tiffany, the one he loves. Like, he's like, this is my bench. Like, all of a sudden, like, I own this bench. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Just kind of a pet update. And I'll do a Winkle haul. There's a lot of laws going into effect too with like putting your kids on YouTube. So I don't know how much I'm going to post of them, because I always try to respect their privacy anyway, but it makes me rethink the whole Vlogmas thing. So I'm not really sure. I know California changed some laws, which rightfully so. If your kids don't want to be on video, I don't agree with people making money off of stuff like that. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen with that. I don't think I like do anything weird like when I show my kids anyways, but I think I'm going to go back to our earlier videos when we were trying to like be like a huge family channel. Not a huge family channel, but that's mainly what we did. I'm probably going to go put those videos on private because, I don't know, there's just weirdos too out there. So that's all I got for you. I'm going to go finish. Well, dinner is pretty much done. I just got to cut the French bread and go eat dinner. Hope you are all doing well, and I'll talk to you guys later at chicken tendies. I was going to say leprechaun tendies because it is almost St. Patrick's Day. Bye, guys.